Oh, I got another meetup game coming Saturday the 28th at 6 p.m. at Shuffle. If you want to be there, there will be a list at some point. All you got to do is come and put yourself on the list. It is going to be crazy again. I have another session at Texas Card House that was quite swingy. Tons of all-ins, tons of big pots, and dare I say, one of the biggest punts I've ever done in my career. Will I rebound? Is this going to be a winning session? Let's get into it. Very early on in the session, we see pocket kings under the gun. Fellas, I've talked about it time and time again. When I'm at these Texas tables, under the gun with kings, I'm telling you, I think it's time to limp re-raise. I go ahead and start with the plan of calling the big blind. There's an open to $15, as we were expecting, a call, and when it gets to me, I pop the 3-bet up to $60. It gets back to the opener, and he just jams all in. Obviously, I just snap call here, and we're off to a run out for my entire stack, just like this, a few hands into the session. Let's see what happens.
And he's recording.
Is that kings?
Yeah, I do.
Kings are good.
Woo! Yeah, surprisingly, actually, that ace on the river is actually good for us, because it makes it a lot less likely he has one, and we end up coolering the shit out of pocket queen, so it's very easy to limp re-raise when a guy has queens. Very easy, tons of skill involved. It's just what I do. For this next hand, some context you need to know. The villain in this hand is a guy that this is the first time I've ever played with him, but he was just going buck wild, jamming pre-flop and post-flop with nothing at random moments, so quite the wild card, but he has cooled it down for like the last hour, so he hasn't been doing anything too crazy. I've got ace-queen, and I will admit, the parking lot hand, ace-queen, it has been definitely doing that to me lately, and a lot of it has been my fault. We've got ace-queen, I pop it up to $15, get 2 callers, to a flop of 4, queen, 5 with 2 clubs. But the guy who was playing crazy leads into me for 25. And there's a call. Now, I actually think this should be a raise a lot of the time. I'd put in the call here, and it gives equity to worse queens, clubs. Obviously, there's really, queen 5 suited doesn't really exist. We're just worried about sets, so this should probably just be a raise, but I end up putting in a weak call. The turn is the 9 of hearts. Seems like a card that's pretty much a brick. Now the guy continues for 125. The other guy folds, and now we're heads up. This is getting pretty sketchy to the point where I think it's probably a set or clubs. I can't imagine. Maybe sometimes he's got queen 9, but I think he's telling me he's got a very nutted hand or a draw. And actually looking back at it, what do you guys think? Is this a call? Is this a fold? There's really not that much beats us outside of a set, and draws are very present on this board. So actually putting the call, maybe not the worst thing, and that's what I do. The river is the 8 of hearts. The problem with putting in the call here is that if he's got clubs, we gave him a free card. And if he has a set, we're just going to get jammed on the river, and it's going to suck really badly. And that's what he does. He goes all in, and he's very deep. But he does cover me. So this is obviously not a super fun spot here with top pair, top kicker. What are we beating, you ask? Well, we're beating no longer 6-7. We're beating 3-deuce, but that's really hopeful. And we're beating clubs. That's really about it. But what are his value hands? Really, what is he telling me he has? Queen 9, queen 5 or sets? We have a queen, which blocks a lot of that. So it seems like very slight value range. I do think, though, when you're facing a big bet at 1-2, just fold. It's usually not a bluff. I end up putting in a call with 1 pair again. And what do you guys think he had? Anyone put him on a set of 9s? Wow, that's why raising on the flop makes a lot of sense. He bets with the worst hand, just trying to figure out where he was on the flop, and just spikes a 2-outer to wreck my absolute soul on the turn. So we lose all the profit we had and our first buy-in for no real reason, I think. I haven't posted a super tilty vlog in a while. This one is going to be it. Some of the next plays are going to be mad aggressive. I got pocket 8s. I pop it up to $25 and get 3 callers to a flop of queen 3-7. Well, look, if no one has a queen, we're probably good. I continue for $35, and a guy jams all in for $175. The 2 other players fold, and I'm like, is this really like king, queen, queen, jack, just jamming into 3 people? I don't know. Feels like spades to me, and, that's famous last word from the last hand, feeling like clubs. But I don't really care. I put in the call, and here's what happens. He ends up mucking 10x of spades, and we win. Now, the problem with calling with 8s there is with the 10x of spades, he likely has 2 overs, which we're basically drawing as a coin flip with. So I'm hoping that I'm right, that I'm a coin flip and not absolutely crushed by queen. So that's why it's probably a fold. But as I said, just didn't want to do it. I am in the +2 with 9-6 of clubs. The +1 opens to 15. I put in the call. And now the button, the guy that's been playing really crazy and wild, 3 bets to $65. It actually folds through to me, and this is definitely just a fold, but with big lick here. I just, you know what I said? It's not in the mood to fold. So I actually put in quite the loose call here. Shocker. To a flop, which again, shocker, no help. Jack 4-7. I check in flow, basically ready to check fold as there's no clubs on this board, and we don't even have a gutter, so not a great time, but he checks behind. All right. The turn is a 3 diamonds. That should not help any of his hands. And I think maybe it is time to take a stab. I bet for $50, and it works. He folds. I show it because I'm an asshole, but we end up winning the pot. That's all that matters. All right, I know what you're thinking. Hey, we've won a couple pots. We're back off tilt. But what you haven't seen is I've just been getting my face bashed for like an hour and a half here, and it's been not a super fun time. So that leads to 9-deuce in the big blind. Look, it's in the big blind. There's an open of $15, a call, and I put in the call as well. Boy, am I happy I did when the flop comes 9-4-9. That is what I'm talking about. It's time to check here and go in a deep cover. That's what I do. The pre-flop raiser continues for 25, and the other guy calls as well. I could check raise here, but really the only bad turn card is a spade, so most of the deck is going to be fine. I think I'm going to check raise a turn, so I put in the call. The turn is the 10 of clubs. Again, really good card. I check. The pre-flop raiser continues for $65, and the other guy calls. Now I'm thinking the pre-flop raiser probably has a 10 or an overpair, and the other guy, what does he have? I think it's most likely a 9 or spades. Now, we're crushed against a 9, but spades, we won deny equity. So I'm kind of in a weird spot. I do go ahead and check raise on up to 150. I mean, I'm not scared money, but I think it should be bigger to make sure that spades do not get a good price. The pre-flop raiser calls, and the other guy calls. So 3 ways to a river, not ideal, to the 8 of diamonds. Now, we're out of position here, and I'm really only worried about the second player. We've got no kicker, which is the problem here. But if he bets, am I folding? I think the answer is no. So a value bet should be coming here. He's not that deep. He's got like 100 something behind. I end up checking, and it checks through. I showed the 9-deuce, and of course, it's good. The pre-flop raiser, just for fun, showed jacks. So at least we kind of knew where he was at. I end up calling a all-in pre-flop short stack jam for like 70 something with king queen. He ends up having pocket jacks where he turns a set and rivers a boat, so we lose that one. I end up running a few bluffs. Shocker, they don't work. And then I was talking to my guy Dave at the end of the table. Him and his son play here a lot. Really nice guys. I'm like, you know what I would love right now? Pocket kings. And he's like, that was random. And I'm like, I know, but watch this. Because the next hand we see pocket kings. It didn't exactly go down like that, but it was somewhere in that realm. I'm doing it again. I know everyone hates it. Raise your own hands. Guess what? I don't care. I limp. It's gonna happen. The guy on my left raises to 15. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Everyone's like, boy, you're an idiot. Well, guess what? Watch this. There's actually a few calls, so I think it's time to raise semi-big. I raised to $75. The guy on my left is like, $75. Yes, that's not enough. He goes all in for $281. And one of the guys that called the $15 went into the tank for a while. You could tell he was just really, really salty about having to fold. What do I think that is? I think it's like 8s, 9s, ace queen suited, or tilt. It could always be tilt. Trust me, I know about it. When it gets to me, obviously nothing to do here. I put in the snap call. I do ask him if he has aces, which I think is kind of like me being a bitch. I really need to stop doing that. I've just ran into aces twice in recent months, so I've had enough of it. He says, no, the flop looks like this. Turn is that, the river is that. I show the kings, and he shows ace, king of clubs. So again, if you're going to limp re-raise, make sure they've got really massive hands that have to open. It's just all you got to do. We double up again with kings. You'll love to see it. This next hand, I'm really curious what y'all think just based on the player type and playing against someone like this. I've got ace queen. I pop it up to $15. There's a call. And then the guy who I said was playing really crazy, and I can just never tell if he's got a really big hand or nothing. He's just been playing very balanced. 3 bets to $90. When it gets to me, I'm going to be out of position if I call. So I think all 3 options are on the table. In 1-2 fashion, I think call is the most likely option for most people, but 4 betting feels like a good idea just because we're going to be out of position, and if we whiff, it's going to be weird. Folding also seems like a great idea, but I end up putting in the call and the other guy folds. So we are heads up to a flop of ace-4-8. That is pretty good. I mean, we're losing the ace-king in set of aces for the most part. That's pretty good. Although I will admit, this is literally the exact flop where I got stacked at 2-5 the other day with ace-queen. So that is not going to be a vlog. I didn't record that because I was trying to focus, but, you know, just flashbacks, if you know what I mean. He bets for $90. Again, I mean, we didn't call to fold to an ace-high board, right? I put in the call. The turn is another 4. Literally exactly what happened when I had ace queen against a set of 8s at 2-5. I'm not kidding. I'm just getting complete Vietnam flashbacks here. I check again, and he checks behind. The river's a brick, and now is the part where I think I'm a little bit of a weenie. This should be a lead, right? What does he have? Most likely nothing, or kings, queens, jacks, that kind of thing. Who's scared of the ace? Now, the reason I don't lead is because we're both really deep, and I can just see him raising me with a bluff or a nutted hand. Now, that is really scared money thinking, and I pride myself on not doing that kind of thing. But I do it here, and he checks behind. And what does he have? He has pocket king. So we'd have been in a world of hurt if we 4-bet. Well, we would have won the pot if I called, but just normally it wouldn't have been a good idea. And yeah, I think I should have bet on the river, and that was just me being really scared against a really tricky player. What do you think? So at this point, we're well into the black, and I'm about to rack up. The dealer's like, hey, you want one more hand? And I'm like, hey, yes, I do. I look down at ace queen again. Who would have guessed? I open and only get a call from the crazy guy. The flop comes ace, 8, ace. Wow, we flop trips with a massive kicker. He checks to me in flow, and I think I'm going to just check behind here and give him some rope to bluff. There's literally no turn card we don't want to see. The turn is a 10 of clubs, and he takes the bait and bets into me. Obviously, I put in the call. The river's a deuce of hearts, but now he blasts for 125. Now, the question is this a raisable spot? And I think it's really, really close. I mean, he's telling me he's got a full house, somewhat of a big ace, or nothing. Most of that isn't going to call a bet, or we're behind anyway, so I put in a really weak call against someone that's deep, and he just mucked. He clearly had nothing, and I feel good about it. At the end of the day, we were in for 600, out for 1365. Wow, you love to see it. That was a good session. There were some real punty opportunities there, but stuff ended up working out in the right direction. If you guys could leave a like, leave a sub on the road to 4K subs, it would help a lot. Anyways, I'm Chris, and I'm out.